everyone, happy Saturday. So today I'm going to do something slightly different. I am going to underwrite a deal for my friend, and this is not in contract yet, and she needs my help to structure the deal. And so I'm not going to show you the address, but I have all the numbers here. I have the PITI, principal, interest, tax, and insurance. So these are all the numbers I get it actually from a loan statement. So I don't even need to go to PropStream to get all these numbers. And I track the recent comparable sales. I couldn't find anything good, and but my friend is thinking maybe to offer about $300,000. So I just put it here, and the purchase price would be the same, $300,000, and I put a down payment first as 5%. So this would be the amount of down payment, and then the SubTo loan, I actually check on PropStream. It's about 127,284, and the seller finance loan is about this much. So it's basically subtractions, right? 300,000 minus 15,000 minus 127,000. Then you give me this much. And I first put it at 30 years, and I put the interest rate to be 0. It's always good to put the interest rate to be 0. And if the seller is not happy with it, you can always say, okay, let's just bake some of this interest rate money into the purchase price. I can give you a higher purchase price, but let's just keep the interest rate to be 0, because there's a compound effect there. So it's always to our benefit to set the interest rate to be 0. And then my friend told me that the rental rate is about $1,700 to $1,800. I didn't do detailed market analysis finding the comparable rental income. I just stick with the number that she gave me. And so now let's do this expense analysis here. So the PI, the principal and interest, is these two numbers. I just add this principal and interest together. It gives me 561. Then the rest would be, the next would be the seller finance payment, which is basically the number we got here. If we have the 30 years with 0 interest rate, that's the monthly payment to the seller. So the seller finance loan, meaning the seller become our bank. We pay monthly payments to the seller to pay off these loan amount. So that's why we have the seller finance payment being this much. And then let's go to the property tax. So I know from PropStream, current tax is about $1,671 with the assessed value being this much. So if we purchase the property being 300,000, this would be the new property tax. So I put this number here and divide it by 12. It gives me $327 per month for property tax. What about the insurance? So we know that the tax and insurance together is about $278.97. And so what I did here, I just did a quick calculation. I actually used the PITI 839 minus the property tax. So the property tax would be the current property tax, $1,671. So I use 839.72 minus the property tax, the current property tax divided by 12, minus the subject to principal and interest. It gives me the insurance that the seller is currently paying being $139.72. And I times 1.2. That's basically the insurance that the projected insurance I foresee to have this on this property. And from the pictures on Zillow, I see that we definitely need some landscaping. So it's very typical item being $50, and we have the property management and vacancy and maintenance capex. So all this just the standard percentage I plug in here. But if you have your own property management and you know they tend to charge, say, 12% or 6% or 8%, you need to adjust this number accordingly. And also, you should also adjust your vacancy and maintenance accordingly if you already have an experienced if you have already a portfolio there, you know what's the typical percentage for the vacancy and the maintenance. You should also adjust them accordingly. Then let's go down to the entry cost. So I say 5% to the seller, so it's about $15,000 for down payment. There's no arrear. This is an off-market property, so there's no agent commission. And my friend said 5,000 to 10,000, so I just put let's just put 10,000. And then closing costs, yeah, there will still be closing costs. So I put it 2%, the admin fee, there'll be TC inspection, LLC formation, assignment fee. There's no assignment fee here, and there's no acquisition fee here as well. So that being said, so the monthly carrying cost is basically these expenses here. These expenses covers all these items. It's about $1544. So we assume they would take us 3 months to rent a house to find a tenant. So it gives me the carrying cost being $4,632. And so, okay, so let's see for long-term rental if a deal or no deal. So it seems that it's negative cash flow, but it's not as bad as most of the other properties I have seen so far. In terms of the entry cost divided the purchase price or the ARV, so if the goal is 25%, so yes, it is a deal. But since the property is not under contract yet, so we can always negotiate. So how can we make it into positive cash flow? Let's see. So if the seller is open to lower the purchase price, we can maybe put it as 20A, this much. So it's changed the monthly payment to $385, and let's see. So it's still negative cash flow. Okay. Say if we change it to 50 years. Okay. 50 years. Oh, so it's about, we are losing $41 per month. Okay. Say if we increase the percentage here, 6%. $36. Okay. What if we change to 60 years? Oh, so the cash flow would be $1 per month. So if our goal is we really need to make $100 per month, and on the other hand, I'm like, actually in this insurance, maybe I'm being, say if I change it to 1.1, but again, if you want to buy this deal, you need to do your due diligence finding out what's the actual insurance cost. This is just really the rough estimate. How does it look like? So it's about $15 difference. What other variations I can play with here? Yeah, I'm not comfortable changing much on the property management and vacancy because I'm not the one who is actually owning the property. So I just leave them as the standard number here. But as you can see, you are basically just playing around the numbers. So you either lower the purchase price or you increase the number of years, or if you can find property management, say it will only charge you 8%. And then Yeah, and in terms of maintenance, to be honest, I think that that property is not a new property. So I would say 10% may not even be enough. You may want to do, you may want to preserve like 20% of your maintenance. If that's the case, then your cash flow will be negative 100, like $129. So that being said, it's really, I hope that you can see all these variations that you can play with. Ultimately, the property management and vacancy and maintenance, there's not much wiggle room if you actually have a mature team locally and you know the markets very well. The vacancy and maintenance based on the house condition is just there. There's not much wiggle room. But the things that you can play with is always the purchase price. You can lower the purchase price, and if you can afford to make more down payments, and maybe you would be able to uh, to um, to increase the cash flow. Say here, say if you can actually pay 10%, which I don't think that would be a good idea for anyone actually, maybe 8% here. Then the monthly payment would be 180, and the maintenance I just keep it as 10%. Okay. So now it gives me a cash flow of $59. So it's actually getting better. So I hope you see what I'm doing. And that's how you can structure deals. It really depends on the goal that you have and knowing where maybe you can cut expenses, where or figuring out what the seller really wants. If seller actually wants certain purchase price, that's his or her sticky point, then you can maybe play with the terms a bit more. Yeah. Or if you're okay with only $50 cash flow, that may be a good deal. Or if you're okay with negative cash flow, but you are able to own the property to write off the income for your other from other revenues that you have, that these may be a perfect deal. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful